Have you ever met anybody famous? You see, I try to avoid them most of the time, but they follow me about everywhere. I can't get away from them. They're all over the place nowadays. Well, years ago, before I was a teacher, I ran a very expensive bedroom furniture shop on Baker Street. You know where Sherlock Holmes was supposed to live? Well, we would get all sorts of people in the shop there. But I remember one occasion. It was a quiet Tuesday afternoon. Now you've got to understand, outside the shop, it was strictly no parking, no matter what. And this Tuesday afternoon, down the road came a cavalcade of three big, black, stretched limousines. They pulled up onto the pavement right outside the shop. Quickly, four extremely large guys, the sort of guys that would make Dwayne Johnson look like a reception kid, got out of the car at the front and another four at the car at the back. And they formed themselves into a human corridor from the middle car to the door of the shop. Then one little man got out of the car in the middle, walked into the shop and asked if there was any other customers. There wasn't at that time. He then simply climbed back into the car. And then nothing for several minutes. All the time, this corridor of muscle stood to attention outside the shop. Eventually, the car door opened, and the same little man, followed by four finely dressed Arab ladies, got out and came into the shop. They wandered around quietly, whispering almost inaudibly to the little man, and then left. Just before they left, the man gave me a list of things they wanted and told me they would return tomorrow. It turned out that the ladies were actually part of the Arabian royal family. Now, those ladies acted how you might expect a king or a queen to. There was security. They made a big show of their arrival. They wanted people to know they were important. And they didn't want to speak to the normal people. Me. Now, Jesus is probably one of the most important people in history. And he didn't choose to do that. Instead, he entered Jerusalem on a donkey. And it was the people who recognized that he was going to be their leader, someone who would free them from the rule of Rome. But here he was, riding on a donkey, which was known as a beast of burden, meaning it was normally used for carrying goods around, not carrying people. But you see, the people weren't distracted by it. Not being a fantastic white horse with flowing mane and tail, the sort of ride you would expect for a leader, they simply saw him and didn't give any thought to the accessories. As soon as they saw him approaching, they cut branches from the palm trees and began waving them about and laying them on the floor in front of him. Sounds like very strange behavior to me. But you see, palm branches were symbols of joy, symbols of triumph, and symbols of victory, which is what the people wanted. It was the people who chose to honor Jesus as he arrived, not Jesus expecting them to honor him. It was written a long time before that this would happen, that the king would come to Jerusalem riding on a donkey. So after everything Jesus had done before, when he arrived in Jerusalem, he was recognized as that future king. And not only that, but the fact that he was on a donkey suggests that he isn't or wasn't going to be like any other king. I think the fact that he was a lowly donkey was showing us the significance of everyone, not just the rich and famous. If we think about our present times, we are told who the key workers are. It's those people who mean we can carry on with our lives. It's the shopkeepers, the doctors, the nurses, the lorry drivers, the bin men, and countless others, not the rich and famous. So this morning, I would like us to say a prayer for all today's key workers, that God should keep them safe. Then, over this coming week, I think it would be great if you could try and leave a treat for the bin men. Could be a message, could be a picture, could be a slice of cake. It's entirely up to you, but something that will put a smile on their face.